Hey guys, it's Michaela. Welcome back to the Micro Dairy Farmer channel. I just wanted to take a seat on a hay bale in the barn here before I start night chores, which includes cleaning up at least 3 of the 4 pens here so I can bring the cows inside. We have a low of 15 degrees tonight, and the pasture just doesn't have good wind breaks. So whenever they come inside, it takes a bit more work. That's happening most nights right now. We're on a bit of a cold streak, which has its bonuses. They're not making anything real muddy, so when they are outside during the day. So I just wanted to sit and talk with you while it's still January and still relevant about the general farm related goals that I have. So there's not much here. I have it written down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things. So let's just go over them. I'll have it on video for me to look back next year, which could be interesting. And maybe you find it interesting because if you don't know, this is my first year as a micro dairy. I am a 5th generation dairy farmer, so I grew up on a dairy farm my whole life. We milked about 100 cows and farmed 1,200 acres. And when I got married, I decided to start my own thing, and I sell raw milk. And so I've only been doing that for 6-7 months. The cows have been here for less than a year. And I'm a new grazer. So all these things all apply. So biggest goal that I have is this year I want to create 32 paddocks and do daily moves. Now daily moves should be a given if you're doing regenerative, right? But since everything was so new this year, I did what I could. So this year, everything was super temporary on the inside. Like every week or so, I had to fully adjust all of my poly wire in the fence. So our pasture is 6.5 acres roughly, fenced, 1 perimeter fence, and everything inside is open. So it's all me moving poly wire and reels. So I had, for the most part, 12 general breaks I would use. And I was moving every 2 days with heifers following cows. So I wouldn't touch a piece of a paddock longer than 4 days. But obviously 4 days is less than ideal. So I'm going to, when it was, basically it was on my lowest, it was 24, 3 weeks to 24 days rotation. And I cut that in half by making the sections even smaller and tighter when it was really hot in July, August. So for this year, I want to set things up still using poly wire because I still am so new at this, but I don't mind using some cheaper stuff so I can cut it, tie it, cut it, tie it. And I want to have it for the most part set up where I can have help and be able to explain it to somebody, have paddock names and not try to say, we have to reel this up and set this up here and do this many paces and all that stuff. And I want to move them daily, but I still am going to have my heifers follow my cows. So I'm still going to have a piece being grazed for 2 days, which again, I know is not ideal, but I'm just baby stepping here, and improvement is what I need to be happy about instead of perfection. So 32 paddocks because I'll have 2 groups of cows, move daily, so I'll always have 30 days in front. And if it really gets tight, I'll cinch them up, but this will be a lot more cinched up than they were this past year, so I'm curious to see how it'll go. Okay, so that's number 1. Number 2 is, without going too far into it, this channel's more about the farming side of it, but I would like to be selling all of my milk for my raw milk business, and yeah, so we'll see. You might have just heard one of the barn cats meow and run away. So I want to sell all of my milk ideally. It might not all happen in 2022, but that's a goal that I'm looking to reach. Okay, number 3, get the front arena into pasture. So in one of my videos, I pointed out that if I really needed a spot to like beat up this winter, I have this front section of my property that used to be a horse riding arena. We tore down the fence around it, but it's still this rectangle. It's maybe like 1/4 of an acre with rubber tire mulch. So my goal would be to, at some point this year, if I can't find a horse person who wants to like take it away for free with weeds and everything that have grown in it, find a way to remove it, and then I'd like to plant it into pasture. When I have such a small farm, an extra 1/4 of an acre is pretty significant for me. So it's away from water, but like it could be a good spot for weaned calves, heifers, set up a lot of hoses if I want to put cows out there. So that's a goal. It might be expensive because here the only equipment we have is a quad. So we'd have to pay somebody to do it, but I think it'll also be pretty for our property and our home. Like we pull into the driveway and just see this grown in junky area. So that's number 3. Number 4 kind of goes along with the grazing, the fact that I'm going to move daily and have 32 set paddocks, you know, quote unquote set, because it's all temporary wire. I would like to not need hay until December in 2022. I basically started feeding hay in November to, I think it was just the heifers for the first week or 2, but then like for the most part, everybody. And as we all know, hay is money, and the longer we can keep them grazing, the better. And when I'm such a small farm and such a new business, anything will help. So like I'm really gunning for better grazing management this coming year compared to last year, and hopefully saving some money while still giving the cows really high quality feed. And then the 5th thing is not really like a full goal, but it's a question mark. Sometimes when it's super muddy and also when the days are super hot, my Holsteins aren't totally fit for this lifestyle, and they really stress with the heat a lot easier than my brown Swiss, I notice. And they're just so darn big. They eat so much and they require so much, and also they're really heavy. And as an inexperienced grazer, you know, I could do some damage. Greg Judy's always talking about how he has certain paddocks that are damaged from his years of custom grazing like Angus, and that gets me worried about my Holsteins. So I have in question mark jerseys. Like, am I going to at one point this year want to switch them? Maybe I can, you know, rebreed my Holsteins and sell them as fresh cows. So it's not really a goal, but a thought that I have that's, you know, farm related. So I wrote it down as a possibility, but we'll see. So overall, my main farm goals are all about pasture management. I was really happy this year with how healthy all the animals were. And I'm just excited because I know I'll see a difference with these moves. It's just a matter of me kind of creating a design and a plan for the pastures. So I feel like I'm blabbing on about this. So I'm gonna stop and I'm gonna go grab my wheelbarrow and start mucking these stalls. And then I will feed the cows and feed the heifers and milk everybody out and get them all tucked in for a night that will drop down to 15 degrees. And we'll have a few nights this week going below 20, which in our area is pretty cold. There are winters where we can get down to single digits, but usually it's more common for the lowest to be in the below 20s, just for periods, thankfully. So thanks for watching. If you like the video, please like it. If you have questions, please leave a comment. I see all of them. And hit subscribe if you want to keep following my journey here. See you guys.